Today I'm talking 2025 Standard Series refresh. We are continuing to look at the D-28, but also giving some love to the 35, so stick around. How's it going, guys? This is Cooper Greenberg at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, all right? We appreciate it. And if you want some swag, check out the Teespring store for cool shirts. So let's talk Martin. I found out, which I guess somebody could have probably guessed, I found out last week that the most searched for model on Martin's website is D-28, not HD-28, D-28. And I think with the changes that they've made this year, that will continue to be the case. But it's interesting. So this is the 2025 D-28. This is the 2025 D-35. Real quick, I was, anytime we do a video, I had a situation today when I had two guitars in here and I was about to do it, and Josh behind the camera was like, Chris did that one last week. Well, I wasn't with Chris last week, so I didn't know. So then I was like, I want to make sure that we haven't done something like this already. And I think, and I could be wrong, I think the last time we talked about the D-35 on the channel in its own little world was in 2018 when they reimagined the D-35. So it's been a long time coming for the D-35 to get some love. Now, I don't know why people don't talk about D-35 as much, because it's got its own cool thing, but what they've done in the 2025 refresh is very interesting when you compare it to what got done on the D-28. So D-35 versus HD-35, D-28 versus HD-28. When they reimagined them in 2018, the non-HD version was a non-scallop brace version with no herringbone. The HD version was scallop bracing with herringbone. In the D-28, this 2025 version of the straight-up D-28 now has scallop bracing, which you could say, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, but the HD also has, scallop bracing. So there's less of a gap between those two guitars. This guitar still has non-scallop bracing. So I think that's cool. The difference between the bracing of these guitars, this one does have 1/4 inch bracing. The D-28 has 5/16 inch bracing. So I think it's fun to compare both of these because, yes, this one's non-scalloped, that one is scalloped, but also the thickness of the bracing is different. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. Obviously, D-35's got its own aesthetic package. Both of these are going to be Sitka spruce top with the aged toner and East Indian rosewood back and sides. That's going to be a 3-piece back because it's 35. But D-35, HD-35, they've got their own sort of fan club, and I think that comes down to 3-piece back, the binding on the neck, also the non-volute, Grover tuners. This whole kind of aesthetic look of this guitar just hits for a certain type of person, one of those people being David, who works here. He was in a video with me about his Strat recently. You may recognize him. You may recognize his voice from the phone, and if you brought up Martin guitars to him, he probably tried to pitch you on a D-35 because he just loves the guitar. And I think it's all about the 3-piece back for the aesthetic, but also the lighter bracing. He loves the, kind of thinner bracing. He thinks it just sings more. And the 35 definitely does have its own kind of tone. I would probably be in the camp of D-28. And up till very recently, I was all about HD-28. It's got to be an HD. First of all, this top is gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it super well through the cam, but I mean, medullary lines for days. I'm talking like this is the Silk Road right here. But I kind of dig the aesthetic look and everything of this guitar a little bit more. I like the non-bound neck. Since it's regular 28, this has got the 28 style dots. D-28 style checker back strip, but I like the volute, I like the open geared tuners. That's just my preference, but it's definitely alluring to get into the D-35 kind of secret club and live in that space. I think they're both great guitars. With the new bracing change, they're definitely different from each other, maybe more different than they were before, being non-scallop guitars. But I do think Martin probably, they do everything for a reason, right? So let's take a listen. This is the 2025 D-28 versus the 2025 D-35. Check it out. There you go. A little bit of sound on both strumming some cowboy chords. So first of all, visual indicators that you're dealing with 35. If you notice on here, the rosette and the purfling, as well as kind of the side and back purfling, both of these have a purfling line around the back. Only the 35 has purfling lines outside of the binding on the sides, and you kind of got this crisp white thing working over here, which I always see based on the rest of the colors of the guitar is more blue, which I think is maybe just a me thing. But anytime I see that so white it's almost blue kind of look, I do like it. I think it's cool because it's very D35. But that's like, if I'm looking at both these head on and I can't see the back, that's what's going to show me that this is a 35. There are differences aesthetically with the HD versions of these guitars. So you'll have different inlays, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like HD-28 is going to have the diamonds and squares. And I do like the look of the HD a little bit more. But either way, this guitar, it's got a little bit more of that antique white type thing going with the purfling lines and the rosette. If you're going HD on either of these, you're going to have herringbone purfling on the top. But also binding on this neck, that's how you know it's 35. Tuners, that's how you know it's 35. and obviously 3-piece back, 2-piece back with a little checker style strip. They're both fantastic guitars. They both come with the same hardshell case, which is the TKL molded hardshell case. I think it really does need to come down to the sound that you prefer more. Everybody, obviously based on Martin's search results on their website, everybody wants a D-28 or an HD-28, but you could play these side by side and find, like David, that you just dig the sound of this guitar a little bit more with the bracing difference, and also just like a little bit more, you know, maybe less common. I don't know, maybe that's why I kind of get drawn to that look a little bit more. You just see less of them, and you see this all the time, which for a reason, right? But I do like the sound of both. Now, I will say, I think it'd be interesting to look at D-28 versus HD-28 in the new refresh, along with D-35 versus HD-35, because I think they narrowed the gap between this and the HD to almost a ridiculous degree, whereas this guitar, you know, there's still a much wider gap when it comes to non-scalloped versus scalloped. That's a thing. Now, other changes that we talked about on this channel with the 2025 refresh, golden era bracing style. So even though that 35 is non-scalloped, it's still golden era non-scalloped bracing. So they're changing the shape of the bracing. They've changed the profile of the bridges a little bit. The bridge pins are bone, they're not plastic. The nut is angled. The volute on this guitar is long, and yeah, the fingerboards are ever so slightly thinner on these guitars. The modified low oval neck profile that you're gonna feel on both these guitars is slightly modified to go towards the golden era. So yes, everything, I think it's been safe enough to say every little change that they've made has been really popular, because there's been a massive boom, I think, all over the place in Martin sales. And I don't think that's necessarily based on the small changes that they made. I just think that they're having a little bit of a moment right now. They've been having a moment for like 192 years now. So, you know, it's a long moment, but I have seen more and more people get really into just Martin Standard Series, nothing fancy. But they're kind of, at the end of the day, they're the fancy, they're the thing. They're the 6-string, steel string, whatever you want to call it. There's an 18-string. I got the double neck behind my desk, so we still have that if you want it. But I think for me, you know, maybe I should have put David in the video because he could fight really hard on the D-35. I think I'm still a 28 guy, but I do think that it's really cool that with the 35, they have left the D-35 non-scalloped, HD scalloped. You still get a little bit more of a difference there that you kind of get to go with. And also, D-35, I mean, it's cool. You should play one before you say, I need a D-28. You should try a D-35 because everybody's ears are different and you might just fall in love with that sound. Some about it, it's a little bit more of that chocolate cake, you know what I'm saying? You get that chocolate cake, and who doesn't want that sound? But let me know what you like more. Let me know what you think. And if you would like to see D-28, HD-28, D-35, HD-35, when Chris is not gone like he is today, we'll do it together. It'll be fun. And we want to show you as much of the new Martin Standard Series as possible, because I think it is sort of reinvigorating a lot of people's interest in playing them versus their older versions, and playing what all the new changes can kind of do to the feel in your hand and in your ears. So we love talking about it. If you have questions, you can look at the specs for these guitars on our website. You can look at pretty pictures of the guitars on our website, but you can also text us, email us, call us, whatever you want to do. If I have 3 D-28s in boxes downstairs, I'll go take them out of the boxes. I'll send you photos so you can choose which one you like the best. We do it all the time. So let us know what you think, what you want to see. Keep the video requests coming, and we will see you next time.